Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about the significance of the title, boet, sissy.
The significance of the title, first of all, the title is one of the first names I was called by when I was in higher primary by a girl who wanted to put me in my place because we were in a debate and I was winning and she was losing, so she wanted to put me in my place. But then there was some sort of guilt and shame that that accompanied the name, and people around burst out laughing, and I sort of felt ashamed for being called that name. But then I went into a process in high school of being ashamed of who I was, and the significance of this title is when I was working on the music and writing the music, I wanted to put on the table everything that I've had to deal with as an individual, homosexual individual in South Africa. And one of the things that I had to deal with was the name calling, and that particular name came up. But then I wanted to adopt it and use it and love it, and I think I can love it because boet, I have earned the title to be called boet in Xhosa because I've gone to circumcision, a passage, a rite rite of passage to manhood. And sissy, you know, sissy, I think there's an effeminate thing about me that I was ashamed of, but I like to use that as my strength. So it's using something that was used for me to be ashamed about, ashamed of, as my strength.
Why was it important for you to put it in an album, though? What are you trying to say?
It's important for people who use art as a tool or a vehicle for catharsis, whatever things that they've dealt with in their lives. Zanele Muholi uses photography. Justice Edwin Cameron wrote a book about his account of growing up, you know, homosexual in Africa. I have used music. It's important that a lot of people start telling their stories about what it means, because it's a human thing, it's a human reality. It's not something that is significant to a nationality or a sort of a race or whatever. It's a human thing. And the more we tell our stories that I've been in love, I've loved another man, I've been broken, my heart has been broken by another man, everybody can relate to that because everybody has been in love.
Who do you think this album is, who is likely to enjoy the album most?
Any open-minded individual, any person who recognizes that he or she is a human being, because that's what I'm trying to drive towards. I think we as human beings, we tend to focus so much on what makes us different, that I'm black, you're white, you're male, you're female, and all of those things that sort of drives us further away from realizing the truth that we are all human beings, and we are here on this planet Earth to make it work and to make it evolve and make it to live it, leaving when we all die and we leave it behind. So I think everything that we do is a symbolism of people who are afraid of change, and we do everything to destroy one another and to destroy the very planet that we occupy.
How would you describe your sound?
It's a combination of everything that has been. Every sound, every element of sound that has existed from the Middle Ages. Now I can reference the Middle Ages because it's something that I have access to. But we know that Africans have always documented their history. That's why you have Timbuktu, Mali. But I can only reference European styles because that's what we've been have access to. But from the Middle Ages, we know that the first instrument was the voice. So my album is a vocal album. I showcase the voice, and everything else accompanies the voice. There's elements of organ, which is church music, because I was brought up there in church. There's elements of choral. There's elements of classical music. There's elements of jazz. There's elements of piano being the dominant instrument. And all these things are things that have evolved from the Middle Ages, classical, romantic, baroque, and up until to the 20th century.
Why go the digital route instead of the traditional buy and the CD and, you know, have it in CD stores?
It makes sense from a business level because I'm doing everything independently. Well, I was rejected, if I can use that name or word, I was rejected by over 8 recording companies because they didn't know how to box my music or didn't know where to place my sound. So I chose not to give up. I could have given up and went ahead with theatre, you know, exclusively. But I chose not to give up. And not giving up, you know, we have technology in our advantage. And technology has opened the world. And for me, it makes it easier for a person who is in America, UK, and all over Africa to access the music without having to, you know, having to go through the challenges of financial financial challenges of distributing the physical album.
But
I'm working towards having a physical distribution of the album once I have reached some sort of success with the digital.
All right. Majola, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
He's using his gift and passion for music to communicate his truth, which is being homosexual. His name is Majola, and his album is titled Boet, Sissy, and is available digitally. So stay with us if you'd like to hear more from that recording. It's available on Amazon, Billboard Music, as well as iTunes. Let's take a break. Stay with us.